Hello everyone, this is Steven from the Even Steven channel, and today we're taking a look at the Cimarron Model P. Now, one of the things I note or I talk about sometimes when I do videos is that sometimes companies will use really cheap boxes, and that kind of annoys me, especially when you have more expensive items. So this is a cardboard box. However, as cardboard boxes go, it's probably one of the nicest looking ones. This is actually like Cimarron's current information, like that's their, Texas, their phone number. And it's cool, you have Samuel, Colt, and the Colt Single Action Army Peacemaker. You got Dan Wesson, I don't know, Horace Smith isn't there, but was that the Smith & Wesson Model 3, which is also cool. So props for Cimarron for putting it in a nice box. Model P, this is the 5.5 inch 45 long Colt / 45 ACP. And this is part number MP437. I will say Cimarron's website is actually pretty terrible as far as explaining what the different models are and this and that. But the gun, let's get to the gun. There isn't a whole lot in the box besides the revolver itself. And this extra cylinder that we'll get to later as well. So what is this? What is the Cimarron Model P? This is a Colt Single Action Army reproduction. Now I've done a few videos on my Heritage Rough Rider revolver. And I thought I'd pull it out just to show the comparison. So they both look similar appearances. However, this is a closer facsimile to the Colt Single Action Army, aka Peacemaker. But at first glance, you'll see they look pretty similar. Similar profiles. See that the cylinder and the kind of the metal workings is not quite as beefy as this one, but you can see how they're similar looking. Take a look at the grip. We got a nice, smooth, intentionally smooth grip. Here, got the Cimarron medallion. I like the kind of color case hardening on the frame. I like it. Patent number. This is the 1873 Colt patent information. Trigger. Notice that the trigger is slightly offset to the left, which would probably be good for right-handed shooting. Hammer. This is not a 4-click hammer. This is going to be one. It's going to be the half cock position. Then 2, 3. So that's definitely 3. Hammer appears to have it's not fixed. It's kind of a free-floating firing pin. And I won't profess to be an expert on Colt Single Action Armies, but I believe that is not authentic Colt Single Action Army, that they were, in fact, fixed firing pins, I believe. Harrisburg getting a little worn there. A loading gate. Got big old 45 caliber rounds in there. See, it's empty. The way you would load it is you put it at the half cock position, which is basically the first click. Open the loading gate, put cartridges in, close it, fire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Half cock position again. Use the ejector rod here and start punching out cases. Now, because these chambers are so much bigger, you don't have to quite perfectly line them up as you would with the other revolver. I have the Heritage Rough Rider. You have a decent sight picture, which is blocked by the hammer. Probably purposefully. It's okay. It's actually not a particularly inaccurate gun. They got decent accuracy out of it, but we'll get to shooting later. This is marked as 45 Colt. 5.5 inch barrel. Nice big shark fin-like front sight blade. And let's see, you got Cimarron Fredericksburg, Texas, manufactured by Uberti in Italy. So this is an Uberti. A lot of people just say Uberti. Uberti manufactured gun. Now, mentioned the cylinder before. This is a replacement cylinder. Let's see if I can find it. And it's marked 45 ACP. What this allows me to do is, instead of shooting 45 Colt, which this is made for, and marked on the barrel, I can pop in this barrel, this cylinder, by putting it at half cock, open up the loading gate, pushing on this plunger, pulling out the pin, which is not the smoothest thing in the world, but you're not going to be doing this a ton on the fly. And then the cylinder will just roll out. Now I don't believe this one is marked, so if it's not marked, then it's 45 Colt. And because, I think I'll just put the 45 Colt back in. But at that point I could have put the 45 ACP cylinder in, and they don't look particularly different from the outside. I'll just use the 45 Colt for now because I don't have any 45 ACP ammo. And to put it back together, you just do it in reverse. And I like the option of being able to switch between the two because sometimes 45 Colt is expensive and hard to find. 45 Colt is about $1 a round. Let's whip out some 45 Colt. They're kind of big. Big, heavy, blunt, slow 45 Colt. I think this is, let's get the box on here. Arms Core 45, they mark it long Colt, but 45 Colt. 255 grain lead cowboy action. So this is made for pretty much like guns like this. 1873s, 1866, 1860 Hemi rifles, and Colt single action army reproductions. Now when you compare it to something like Heritage 22 long rifle, you can see it's much bigger, almost dwarfing it comically. 45 long Colt, 45, I said it myself. 45 Colt to 22 long rifle. However, this is like 10 cents. And this is like $1. Every time you pull the trigger and it goes off, it's $1. Which it doesn't always do. And that leads me to the one problem I have with this gun. It's not reliable. And it is quite a shame because I had the similar problem with my Heritage Rough Rider revolver. Just double check this one more time. In that, when I pull the trigger, the gun doesn't always go off, and it just feels like it's not coming forward with a lot of force. It's not really snapping with a lot of energy. And that's probably leading to it not always going off. Similar to the Heritage Rough Rider. I don't know what it is, but that just feels like it's going forward with more force, more momentum. Otherwise, besides it doesn't always work, I think it's a pretty excellent gun. I think it's a fun gun to shoot. It doesn't have a lot of recoil. It's not a sharp impulse, but because of the Colt single action design, see how rounded this is? You can fire with a modern two-handed shot shooting technique. You can do that. But the way these are made to be used is they're made to be done one-handed, and you're supposed to allow the gun to roll. And as you're rolling, you can kind of fan it and let it go back down. And I think it's very fun to shoot. Again, the recoil impulse is interesting in that there's a lot of recoil, but it's not sharp. It's kind of almost delayed because the gun wants to rotate in your hand. I like it. I do like the gun. I hate to kind of be the bearer of bad news on these cowboy, Old West reproductions, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Similarly to the Heritage Rough Rider, I'll go through a cylinder and, I don't know, a third of them won't go off on the first time. And then 80% of the time they'll go off the second time. And then now I'm left with a couple of these casings here that I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. What am I supposed to do with this? It won't go off. I've done it over and over and over again. It won't go off. And now I'm stuck with these unfired cartridges. So, similarly to my Heritage Rough Rider, I'm going to be sending it back or contact Cimarron and say, hey, you know, I got this gun, it doesn't work. What do you want me to do? And I'll probably be shipping it to them, and they'll probably be fixing it, and they'll probably put a new hammer spring in there, and they'll probably work right. But I'm just getting a little tired of doing that. You know, this is not an inexpensive gun. This is about $500. So I like to think at that price point, really should be getting a little bit better gun, a little bit more from the factory, quality checked. But anyway, I guess that's it. This is Steven from the Even Steven channel. I like the gun, I like the revolver. I like revolvers a lot. I like the way it looks. When it does fire, it's fun to shoot, but it doesn't always fire. And I haven't noticed a big difference between 45 ACP or 45 Colt as far as which one is more reliable. If I had to guess, I think the 45 ACP is a little more reliable, but I don't know. Anyway, this is Steven from the Even Steven channel. I guess probably the first video of my Cimarron Model P. Thank you and goodbye.